If you've been around my channel for a while, or if you've spent a good amount of time in GTA 4, then it's no surprise to you that the game has a lot of bugs. I covered some of the ones that happen at higher frame rates before in previous videos. There are also plenty of others that I haven't covered that are tied to broken graphical effects, but this video isn't going to be about any of those. Instead, this video will be a small collection of bugs that aren't usually noticeable or talked about a whole lot. With that said, let's begin. At every traffic light on Duke's Boulevard, for whatever reason, vehicles will stop when the light is green and start driving once it turns red. You'll even notice that cars start slowing down just a couple of seconds before the light turns green, which makes it seem like the traffic is treating it as a yellow light, had there actually been one. Time will usually advance by a certain number of hours when sleeping, going to the hospital, getting arrested, or getting your car customized at a pay and spray. However, if the clock passes midnight during any one of those scenarios, the day of the week won't actually advance. Here's an example with Hospitalization. It's currently Monday at 7 PM in game. Once Nico is hospitalized, it takes about 12 hours before he's released, so he should be discharged by Tuesday at 7 AM. But if we look at the time on the phone, it says it's 7 AM, but somehow, it's still Monday. So instead of moving on to Tuesday, the game essentially bounced backward and restarted Monday as a whole. In GTA 4, you'll often run into people in need who will ask Nico for money, and as the player, you have the option to give them some. Usually, if you choose to give money, Nico will throw some cash on the ground and the NPC will walk over to collect it. However, unlike the console versions of the game, this doesn't work correctly on PC. When you click the button to give money, the game will deduct $10 from you, but Nico never actually goes into the animation to throw the cash on the ground. And because the NPC never technically gets the money, they still stand there with their hands out waiting to receive it. Even if you walk far enough away from them, you can still see them stuck in the same animation. After playing the game for a while, you might run into a bug that happens quite randomly where a vehicle's horn gets stuck and won't stop whatsoever. This can even happen when there's no traffic anywhere nearby, which becomes especially evident if you disable traffic through a trainer.
Welcome to Burger Shop, motherfucker!
Sometimes when you're ordering food at a restaurant or even at one of the vendors, there's a small chance of getting stuck, meaning you won't be able to move or pan the camera around. Everything should work normally after a few seconds though.
Bon appetit, motherfucker! Burger Shop, holla back!
In some GTA 4 missions, execution cutscenes can be triggered when you aim at a specific character. These actually add a lot of atmosphere to the game's story. In some of them, however, there can be a bit of desync between Nico firing his weapon and the character actually being hit. A perfect example of this can happen when you're executing Playboy X in the mission The Holland Play.
You didn't change the game. The game changed you.
Along Cayuga Avenue in Schottler, vehicles are usually parked right in the middle of the street. This obviously seems unintentional and is more than likely just a small oversight during the game's development. And since we're talking about parked vehicles, there is another type of issue that happens in Bohan. Now, I'm not sure if this is a bug or just another developmental oversight, but vehicles that are parked on the side of the road will often replicate whatever you're driving or sometimes what other NPCs might be driving. And that's it. these are just a small collection of bugs in GTA 4 that aren't often noticed or talked about very much. There are a few mods linked in the description for the PC version that address some of these issues. I've also covered a much larger set of bugs specifically related to higher frame rates in 2 previous videos. These are split across 2 parts. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.